It's time to take care of yourself and enjoy life again. CBD American Shaman has a full line of hemp-derived products to help you experience the fullness of life. Whether it's a better night's sleep, relief from worries and tension, or just having fun, consultants at CBD American Shaman will guide you on your journey. Visit findcbdnow.com for a location near you. Findcbdnow.com. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Well, hello there, everybody. We're glad you joined us for LTN. Working through some technical issues. I am positive people listening on Facebook this morning are more than entertained by our plight of trying to get this thing figured out. But we're going. The ship is on the seas, and we're going ahead. And no matter how I look at it, it says Eric Almirola is our fast qualifier today. The hot rumor, of course, about Eric Almirola is this might just be his last season. We're not really sure. Todd Bailing in Greendale, Wisconsin, joined by my three partners, starting with Dan Margetta, who today is at Rockford, Illinois. Hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, we're down here for the short track championship. Today's the Big 8 race, 108-lap feature. NASCAR Talladega, the first of two lottery races.
Oh, boy. Listen, I thought I was having a technical issue. If that's what it's sounding, I'm the better one of the two of us. Then we go to beautiful Utzberg, Wisconsin, and Brian Schmidt. Hi, Brian.
Good morning. I think I sound normal, do I not? I believe.
You are as normal apparently is going to be today.
Yes. Talladega today, a definite wild card, that's for sure. And poor Kyle Larson, man, he had that thing. It looked like he was locked and loaded and ready to advance last week at Texas, and lo and behold, he wrecks, and now he's on the bubble, and he's got to go to Talladega, where he just can't seem to finish in the top 10. So any Kyle Larson fans out there, they're going to be on pins and needles today to see what he can do, but he's got a good starting spot.
He certainly does. PJ Noodleman of Trempealeau, Wisconsin, the female voice of the four of us. Hi, PJ.
Good morning. Very nice to be here.
And between PJ and Brian, you guys sound really good. I should just say that in advance. The rest of us, not so much. I mentioned Eric Almirola on the poll. This race today will be televised on NBC. You know, with all the technical issues, I never even got what time our coverage starts. I'm going to guess right around noon here on the Big 920, but I'm not exactly sure because they usually do an hour of pre-race at least. So while Matt is looking for that, I will tell you it will be televised on Channel 4 here in Milwaukee, NBC affiliate, wherever you might be listening. 1:04 Central Time is the green flag today. The segments are at lap 60 and lap 120. It is a 188-lap race on this 2.66-mile track. No real big surprises, I guess, with the possible exception of Riley Herbst. He is in one of the front row cars, and he qualified, sixth fastest. So we're going to see a guy who absolutely does not belong with a bunch of experienced Cup drivers. Riley Herbst has been a mediocre Xfinity and truck racer, and he's right in the middle of the group here as they get ready to race at what used to be considered a plate track. What do we call these now? Super speedway? It's not plate anymore. I don't even know. What do we refer to them as?
Yeah, I would just say super speedways because it's like that's what it is, and it's drafting racing. It's, pack racing. You're going to be stuck in a pack the whole time. So, yeah, Riley Herbst is in one of the front row cars. So they have 3 cars in there today. Todd Gill and Michael McDowell start next to each other in row number 9, 17 and 18th. So Riley rolled off a good lap. He was one of the last cars to go and qualify. I was listening to qualifying yesterday and laid down a good lap. And kudos to him. They have a car together today, and we'll just see if he can hang on and not cause massive chaos in the front of the pack early in the race.
Yeah. What is the saying? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to qualifying there. You literally roll out. I mean, I heard some of the interviews yesterday. Guys were talking about, there's a cloud, the sun is out, and Joey Logano goes, it doesn't make a difference. You roll out there, you put your foot to the floor, and you don't lift until you see the checkered flag, and that's all it's to it. You just got to hold a pretty steering wheel and keep it on the bottom.
And therefore, qualifying is taken out of the driver's hands, actually, and it all depends on how well the truck or car, in this case, is prepared when they go out to qualify. Speaking of trucks, they did a race yesterday in the Truck Series, and Brett Moffitt, who is not a regular in the series, used to be, but he came back and won yesterday. I was not plastered to my television, and I am sure one of you partners of mine can tell me what the hell happened to Ty Majeski again.
I think he got a piece of every accident that happened out there yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, he was running good. He got stage point. I listened to it over the radio yesterday, and he got stage points in round one, in the first and second stage, and it was in the third stage that he got involved in one of the bigger wrecks. There were multiple big wrecks. I mean, there was multiple guys taken to the hospital yesterday after that race. But I mean, all things considered, he still was able to salvage a 21st place finish out of 36 trucks with the carnage he had. He's lucky. He still has the point situation is not good for him going into the part of it there. He's 19 points out. He was 22 going in, so he shaved only 3 off of it. But I think he's going to have to win at Homestead, or he's going to have bad luck by the guys in front of him, and in order to advance to the Final Four.
He's had some success. I mean, he likes that track at Homestead, right?
He's
won
there
last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he wins next week, which, like Brian said, it's starting to look like he's going to have to do to make it to the next round.
That truck thing, I mean, it's jumbled up. Right now, the 4 that are looking good, Corey Haim's locked in, obviously. Then you have Hocevar. He's 23 to the good. He's good. But after that, I mean, look how good Christian Eckes has been. He's only 9 to the good. Nick Sanchez, who left with a bloody eye yesterday, he's only 3 to the good. Infinger, who looked really good a couple weeks back, he's out by 3. Ben Rhodes, the other ThorSport truck, he's out by 5. And then you have Ty, and then Zane Smith. I mean, he's really in a pickle. He had mechanical issues yesterday, wasn't even involved in a wreck. He's 36 out. So really jumbled up in the Truck Series going into that last race.
Speaking of Nick Sanchez, a relatively new name to the upper echelon of NASCAR racing, shows some talent. But I have to tell you, I was a little surprised. Matt Crafton has to be as absolutely frustrated as any driver has ever been for him to come up and blindside Nick Sanchez. If you have not seen the video yet, it's out there. Crafton just tapped Sanchez on the shoulder. Now, this is from Sanchez. I didn't hear this from Crafton. And Sanchez turned around and he smacked him in the face so hard he was bleeding all over the place. There were some naughty words being thrown around there from Sanchez to Crafton. But I have to hand it to him. At least he had his wits about him when they interviewed him and says, it is what it is, and we're racing at Talladega. He understands that part. I'm not sure Crafton understands that part because there was a pretty frustrated driver right there.
But Nick also was caught on tape saying, I'm going to kill you. You messed with the wrong guy, and you can't be doing that either.
No. Yeah, that's where you cross the line there, and one would think NASCAR will get involved in that by Tuesday.
But yet, NASCAR is definitely promoting the event and what happened between the two. So it's always the love-hate thing for NASCAR. They hate to see this stuff happen, but yet they're going to promote it. So
yeah, but didn't he say, I'm going to get you at Homestead? I don't think you can say that. It's pretty bad, but listen, it'll be fun. Must-see television at Homestead for sure. If you'd like to participate in the program at any time during this show, you can call us at 414-421-7901. We're Pack Track Racing today. I like your terminology, Brian. I think I'm going to keep a note, and we can call it that instead of plate track. Let's call it Pack Track, because that really is what it amounts to. And it's we're in the playoffs. We need to run up front. The only guy that doesn't need to run up front is Wild Willie Byron, who, coming off his win last week, does not have to do that. Had a great run at Texas and wins, and will get his ticket punched, as they say, to the next round. We're glad you're tuned in. We're going to take a little break and come back. Hang in there with us.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2024 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save. Makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including IndyCar, Moto America, IMSA Sports Car, and more. Don't wait. Get your 2024 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com. Fall has arrived, but there's still time to get your landscaping complete before the snow flies. And PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Kyle Larson alongside, and the green flag goes in the air.
Playoff round of 12 heats up at Talladega Superspeedway.
Trouble back straightaway. Another car is spun. It's William Byron who's going for a spin.
Who will conquer the high speeds in Alabama?
Checkered flag waving at the start-finish line, and Tyler Reddick will score the win.
It's the Yellowwood 500.
Sunday, coverage starts at noon on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Well, there's that coverage at noon, and don't forget that fabulous iHeartRadio app, which a lot of people tend to use, from what I understand. Boy, it is has been a pretty crazy week. A lot of different things happening. They apparently are starting to give little snippets of next year's schedule. They're not saying the schedule, but they're telling us some things like, no surprise, the Brickyard is now going to be on the oval, as we had heard in the past, and that, we wanted this, I think. I'm not sure that road course was the best thing, and who wants to win on a road course when you could win at the Brickyard? What kind of show will it be? That's another whole show in itself. But Indianapolis will be July 21st. They also came out and said that the All-Star race is going to be back at North Wilkesboro, but they're going to repave it, which, I thought, what about all that character that was involved with the old surface? Apparently that didn't work out as well as they wanted, but they did also announce the date for that as May 19th. No surprise, the week before Memorial Day weekend, which is when they race the World 600 at Charlotte. So there's things that we have put together and we know about the schedule next year. There's just a few things that are still to be determined, and they're going to be, announcing that as time goes on. However, there's some major money that was spent this week. I'm having a hard time believing the kind of money that Spire Motorsports has come up with after we mentioned a week ago that, and none of this is firm. It's all hearsay, all right? We don't know if the numbers that are being thrown around are true.
With Blue Cash Preferred, transform everyday purchases into exceptional perks. New card members can also earn a $250 statement credit after they spend $3,000 in purchases on the card in the first 6 months. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/US/explore-BCP.
Choose an American Express card that can earn you rewards for your purchases. Explore benefits from green, gold, and platinum cards. Put some cash back into your wallet from everyday purchases with Blue Cash Everyday and Blue Cash Preferred cards. When you're traveling again, bring back some bonus points or miles as a souvenir with our partner cards from Delta and Hilton. See if you pre-qualify for an American Express card with no impact on your credit score. Learn more at americanexpress.com/check-4-offers. Your credit score may be impacted if you accept a card. Terms apply.
If they are true, that's a lot of money. Well, the charter that they bought was reportedly for $40 million, which is just, unheard of. I can't imagine. They sure must have a nice payback on that charter. But then Spire Motorsports this week purchased Kyle Busch Motorsports, KBM. Now, from what I put together, the whole idea was that they need the room. Well, if you hadn't bought a 3-truck team, maybe you wouldn't need that much room. They were running out of Alan Kulwicki's old shop right behind the Charlotte racetrack, but Kyle Busch's complex, what is that, up at Mooresville in that industrial park, guys?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I guess that's a pretty big place, and they're going to need it because there's some questions that I have, and that maybe some of our listeners will be able to tell us, because I'm not real sure myself how this works. Kyle Busch Motorsports was building chassis. They called them Rowdy chassis. And then I think there was another name in between. I'm not sure, maybe one before that. But then they actually changed the name of it to Hamke Motorsports because Robert Hamke was the original guy who Rowdy bought out, and as a tip of the cap to Hamke, changed the name to Hamke Motorsports. Am I right about that, you guys? I think I am.
That is for the short track program, though.
Right. Just for chassis for short tracks. But Spire apparently bought that same outfit. Now, they didn't say that they bought Hamke race cars. No. They said they bought Rowdy.
Well, Rowdy still builds his own truck chassis, I do believe.
Oh. So maybe it's not the short track thing. That might be a private. But he did say. But Kyle Busch did say we're keeping KBM alive because that's me and my boy Brexton. That's pretty much it. He's just watching his 8-year-old son's career and keeping a close eye on it, who, by the way, has a contract to drive for Richard Childress someday. That was part of the deal. I'm having a hard time believing that, too. So I don't know, guys. The question would be, and the question was asked of Jeff Dickerson, who is the face of Spire, where are you getting all this money from? Did you guys happen to see what his song and dance answer was? It was really song and dancey. Well, don't keep asking questions. We're for real, stuff like that. Nobody answered. Where could that money possibly be coming from? And that's $65 million reported dollars in the last week. So whether or not that's important, I'm not sure. Spire Motorsports, in the meantime, will have 3 Cup teams and 3 truck teams next year. They keep expanding. What is the whole idea? Do they really need 3 truck teams, or is that suddenly going to become a feeder for somebody or something? Anybody know?
Well, I think that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
AJ.
Well, I was just going to say it's absolutely going to be a feeder thing, because if they have a feeder program in place, that's going to become leverage for a manufacturer for them.
That certainly makes sense.
And Kyle did announce he's going to run 5 races for them next year, just to keep his streak of racing in the truck series going. But Kyle had a handful of trucks back in the day too. When he was under Toyota, I think he had up to 3 full-time teams as well. Spire had a truck. They didn't run the entire season this year, but they did. And Kyle Larson won in that truck back in North Wilkesboro in May. Ran right here in Milwaukee with Derek Kraus driving it and was successful with it. So they have some success in that already. Now you add Kyle's resources to it. I think they're going to be a formidable team next year in the truck series for sure. Now their Cup side, we'll see. There's still a long way to go there to get that thing going. We thought Corey LaJoie was going to make the next step this year, and he really didn't. Maybe adding some more of these pieces to the puzzle and having a little more stuff in the lower level and having some more resources will help them be more competitive. I don't know. Time will tell.
Oh boy, so much to it. And that truck that they ran this year, that number 7 truck, was a Hendrick satellite deal. Hendrick? Or is it something to do with Childress? Oh my God, I don't really know. I wish I did. We'll be back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
This week on NASCAR Live, Grant Enfinger joined the show.
It's inevitable. There's going to be craziness happen. And like I said, I feel like people harp on what you can't control. And there are a lot of things that you cannot control there. But we can control a lot of things. So we got to focus on that and make the right decisions. And then at the end of the day, hope for the best.
There's much more waiting for you each week on NASCAR Live.
Every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock in Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920, and your iHeartRadio app.
So Dan Malgetta seems to have an idea about where the money is coming from for Spire Motorsports, and whoever it is, they certainly have a pretty fat wallet, don't they, Dan?
Yeah, well, they just signed Gainbridge as a sponsor, and they're worth like $44 billion. And there's an Andretti connection there too. I mean, there's some talk that might be part of it. That could be where some of that money's coming from.
It makes sense. Although, when questions get asked, apparently people are either afraid to ask Dickerson about that from Spire Motorsports, or he just dances around it. If they're worth $44 billion, 65 is just like $65 million is just a drop in the bucket, I guess, for them, right?
Well, yeah, it's just how involved they are. I mean, I don't know if they're just a sponsor or they're actually involved in the team. They're heavily involved in Andretti's operation. Andretti was looking to move to Formula One. So that cost some money. So, I mean, we don't know the specifics there, but, I mean, if you want to look and see where they came up with a bunch of it, you could probably start there and do some digging.
So this may be the way in for Andretti, like it could possibly be Spire Andretti or Andretti Spire Motorsports before we know it. But because Spire has already come up with or Andretti has, that he wants to come back to NASCAR. We've heard him say it. And so this might be the way in, especially if this Gainbridge thing goes anywhere. But, trying to figure out where all this money comes from is kind of a full-time gig, who's got this kind of money? And additionally, how can $40 million to buy a charter possibly be a good investment unless that's the kind of money they're getting from NASCAR to run a team? They're not going to get that back, are they? I mean, isn't it going to take years to get that kind of money back? We don't know numbers, do we?
No, we don't. And if next year, if the TV deal goes through and that charter teams get more of the TV money, that price of the charter could go up to $50 million. So you might make 10 right there in a year.
Good God.
It's interesting because I heard an interview yesterday with Brad Keselowski was with Claire B. Lang talking about this, and he was a little critical of the money that they're throwing around there and the money Spire was because he was looking to possibly add another team also to RFK, but he goes, that kind of money, it's just crazy to think that you'd spend that kind of money on it when you don't know the value of it going forward. So he had a lot of questions, and he was pretty poignant in what he said about how these guys are throwing this kind of money around, but we don't know what the future looks like. And, we don't know what the next TV deal is going to look like. And we don't know how much money is going to be coming in the future. And to just dump that kind of money in there, not knowing if you're going to get a full return on your investment. He had a lot of questions about it as well. And it was funny because Claire played that clip to Dickerson, and he kind of was real back offish after that. Well, we know what we're doing with it, and we know how we're going to spend it. And it's a very interesting back and forth and quite the shell game being played right now with this money.
The where the money is coming from game. Listen, it didn't seem like to me that it was that long ago that when we talked about the silly season, all it meant was which driver is going to change to which car. The sponsors basically stayed the same. Drivers would change about this time of the season, and they would say so-and-so is going to change teams next year. Now we're talking $40 million for a charter and all of the things that go around that. Selling complete race teams is part of the silly season, which, think about it. Hendrick signed a new sponsor this week. Hewlett-Packard, HP Computers, they're going to come on board for a 3-year deal starting next year. That used to be a kind of a big deal. We don't know the kind of money. I'm sure it's not $20 million per year like a full-time sponsor would need to be. And how many full-time sponsors are there? Not very many. So this is going to be a fraction of that. But that used to be the story. So now you got HP coming on board with Hendrick, and it's like nothing compared to everything that's happening there. Now, all of that being said, imagine what it's like at Stewart-Haas Racing, where it seems like a marriage made in heaven between Stewart and Haas. Stewart has the brains and knows talent. Haas has the money, and they don't really need sponsors, even though it's not the greatest idea in the world to operate a team without a sponsor. But there's all kinds of whispering going on. Let's call it whispering. People saying nobody knows for sure because Stewart-Haas Racing has not announced anything. It is generally assumed, that Eric Almirola is out after this year. I don't know if that means that Smithfield's money goes with him to just to get out of the sport, or will Smithfield have some kind of role at Stewart-Haas Racing? In the meantime, if Almirola is out, well, who would take his place? And it is generally assumed that Cole Custer is going to come back. Now, Tony Stewart is a very smart guy, and he knows talent when he sees it. I don't know that Cole Custer, myself, I'm not as good a judge of talent as some other people are, because to me, guys that run up front constantly and win races are the ones you want. And Cole Custer has been a kind of a questionable cup driver with a win that it doesn't matter how.
That was an excuse me victory at Kentucky several years ago.
I agree with you 100%, Brian, but that doesn't really matter. You want to race at the Cup level, but he doesn't really look good overall. So you put him back to the Xfinity Series for a year. Yes, he has a win. Yes, he has run up front more than he did in the Cup Series. But is this guy really the next big thing to come back to take over the 10 car? Or is it, Daddy, I don't want to run Xfinity anymore. Can I come back? Almirola's leaving. Well, you'd have a hard time convincing me that that's not what's happening with the way the rumors go. Now, we do know that Preece is coming back. Stewart knows talent. He knows the guy has some talent. I don't believe that the reason that Preece isn't winning races has anything to do with his talent. Nobody is really doing anything there at Stewart-Haas. That's what they need to get in line more than anything else. Let's get this program figured out. It's a kind of an embarrassment in Kevin Harvick's last season that he was in such a crappy ride. Let's face it. Stewart-Haas Racing, they have money, they have talent, they have Tony Stewart, and they... Boy, I'd like to say they suck, but I hate to use that word. Yeah, but that's Tony.
And that's where I'll give Cole Custer a little bit of a pass this year. I mean, I expected big things out of him when he moved down to the Xfinity Series. I figure, he's going to win a whole bunch of races. But when you look at that program as a whole, they're miserable in the Cup Series right now. So the fact that they're able to get 2 wins in the Xfinity Series, and then Riley Herbst is his teammate, which isn't much of a help.
Join the Glow Party. Maybelline is heating up iHeartRadio Fiesta Latina with our new Super Stay Skin Tint. Get bright, sweat-resistant coverage that won't quit for up to 24 hours. Maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline.
It's time to take care of yourself and enjoy life again. CBD American Shaman has a full line of hemp-derived products to help you experience the fullness of life. Whether it's a better night's sleep, relief from worries and tension, or just having fun. Consultants at CBD American Shaman will guide you on your journey. Visit findcbdnow.com for a location near you. Findcbdnow.com. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
For him to get 2 wins and be in the top 3 in the Xfinity Series points, I think he's kind of overachieving when you look at how that program is operating compared to, to some of the other programs in there. So I'm okay with how he's doing there. I don't think he's ready to move up to the Cup Series, but like you said, it's hard to tell when the program is so miserable.
We're happy you tuned in. We're going to sneak away for a break and be right back.
Attention race fans. Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2024 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save. Makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including IndyCar, Moto America, IMSA Sports Car, and more. Don't wait. Get your 2024 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience. Stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Check this out. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited. With Colin Cowherd.
Trayvon Diggs, the great corner for the Cowboys, out for the season. Defense wasn't as aggressive. Dak Prescott had to play on the road and trailed. He was just ordinary, mostly. And Mike McCarthy's coaching is always up for debate.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Right back into the program here. Yeah, there's some things that have come up this week. Sammy Smith. He's a driver out of, I think it's Iowa, right? I believe so. He's he's shown some ability, I would say. He's shown ability when he's been racing a super late. He kind of drove over his head in some events over the past, but, gets himself noticed. He has money behind him. He's been in the Gibbs ride, which is not a cheap ride to rent or, to be a development driver at, let's put it that way. But he's switching. He's leaving Gibbs, and he's going to arguably the best Xfinity team, Dale Jr.'s team, Junior Motorsports. He's got that Flying J money with him, and he's moving over there. That seems like a much better move to come to Chevrolet than the Toyota team at Gibbs. Agree, fellas and ladies?
I'm very surprised by that one, because with John Hunter Nemechek moving up, Sammy Smith looked to be the number one guy in the Gibbs Xfinity ride going forward. And he was been a Toyota guy from the start. He's been running all the Toyota stuff all the way up to this point. Now he's going to Junior Motorsports, and he's not going to be the top dog. So I was very surprised by this. I mean, this leaves the Gibbs Xfinity ride like wide open. There's nobody right now. It doesn't look like there's anybody that's set to run full time in the Gibbs Xfinity cars next year, which is quite surprising.
Don't you think, though, that people kind of feel that moving over to Gibbs right now is kind of like walking on eggshells these days? I mean, it is. Plus, you have a grandson there who has a tendency to kind of rule the roost, if you will. So I don't know how much you would want that for a teammate.
Yeah, but, when I think of when Matt Kenseth left Roush, he went from what he thought was a sorely lacking organization to Gibbs, who apparently was good enough to take a driver the caliber of Matt Kenseth and then just kind of use him up and tell him, we don't need you anymore. We're going to go this direction. Things that happen at Gibbs, I don't really understand. I can tell you that, for them to continue in the Xfinity Series, somebody is going to have to bring some major cash with them, and that might be what the holdup is. The question, even around here, our boy Josh Bilicki, who in my case, I don't know what to think of Josh. I know he's a wonderful young man. I don't know how much talent he actually has driving a race car. I can tell you, though, that he has some unbelievable talent talking people into sponsoring a guy that doesn't do anything. And so does he possibly get enough sponsor money to be considered to move to Gibbs Racing? And if so, maybe we would see what kind of talent Josh Bilicki has. Now, am I just dreaming?
No, it's funny. It's funny you say that. I talked to him over the Labor Day weekend, and he expressed that exact sentiment to me, that he was looking, he's to the point in his career now where, he needs to run up front and possibly try to win some races. He's sick of being a back marker, and if he's able to put enough funds together, to present something to a Gibbs, was one of the possibility organizations, would he be able to, do like what Ryan Preece did, get in there, get a couple wins. And now, I mean, it's looking like the seas are opening, or he knew what we didn't know at the time, that all of a sudden all their rides would be open next year. So if he's able to put some money up there, I mean, it's him. Ryan Truex ran a couple races for them this year. I would assume if he's able to get enough money together, maybe he would run more of a season there. But other than that, what has Gibbs got? What has Gibbs got left to put in there? Is Corey Heim going to move up and run a full Xfinity Series next year? He's another Toyota guy hanging out there. That's a possibility. Other than that, I don't really know where else they're going to go to fill all these seats. And maybe
it's not just about the talent, though, Brian. As we know, Heim has got some talent, right. But you can say, "Hey, I'm a talented driver. I'd like to drive your car." Yeah, how much money do you have? And I don't know where some of these guys get their money from. Who the hell is Corey Heim? What does his grandpa do for a living? That's the kind of thing we don't know in many cases. In some cases we do, in some cases we don't. But since you don't need a charter to run in the Xfinity Series, it seems to me that it would very easily be cut back on the amount of teams that Gibbs is going to present to the Xfinity Series. As a matter of fact, that's probably the front runner right now, because it's not a money-making operation. Their purses are a hell of a lot less than Cup purses. and there isn't as much money to be made. They have to make up for it by the amount of money that drivers bring with them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Plus, you got to think about that. Before, Cup guys could run as many races as they want. Now they're limited. A lot of times they use those Xfinity teams, put the Cup guy in, got the sponsor to get the money for those races they ran, and then kind of backfilled in after that. But now your Cup guys are limited to how many races you can run, so your big star power, sponsorship-wise, isn't available anymore.
Dan, I forgot to ask you in the beginning of the program about your status here. You are working today at Rockford, where it's their last weekend in business, right?
Well, it's the last National Short Track Championship. They still got a couple more events here going through the end of October, but it's the last one of those, and today's the headliner, the Big 8 races today, the 158-lap feature. I'm actually running a camera for Midwest Tour TV. It'll be on live stream there. We were there last night. They've been running Friday, Saturday, and now today, Sunday's the headliner, but it's the last big short track championship weekend.
How was the crowd last night, Dan?
Very good. I think a lot of people realize that you're not going to have any more time to come here and see this place. They were already starting to grade the parking lot with the construction crew out here on Friday. So, people can start seeing the end is kind of near here. So a lot of people are coming in to make it, one more time.
I'm a little surprised at the super late model count there last night, especially knowing a couple of things, that it's the last race for super lates at that track, and that it was Rich Bickle came out of retirement again, see Brett Favre, and raced last night. I mean, only 16 cars for the final super late show. Is that a little surprising to anybody?
Well, yeah, they had 17 here, actually, one scratched after practice and qualifying. But I think a lot of it was, the years past, the Super 8 program was an invitation deal, and I don't think it was, people really knew that. It was wide open for anybody to come. That was part of the reason. And nobody just really knew what was going to go on with that. And so when they finally realized it wasn't an invitation deal, that's what they got. They got 17 cars there. I mean, Nason won it. He was here, and Jake Nottestad had a pretty good run. Rob Brown came down. I mean, there were some names that we expected to be here. And Richie actually had a pretty good run. He finished second. I thought he might have a shot to win that deal with a late caution. But looked pretty good for his comeback.
All right. Well, that result from Rockford and from the rest of racing around the U.S. of A. Is coming up after this next break. We're glad you're tuned in. Stick around with us as we'll give you some updates on some of the results around the country. Hang in there.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2024 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save. Makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including IndyCar, Moto America, IMSA Sports Car, and more. Don't wait. Get your 2024 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Fall has arrived, but there's still time to get your landscaping complete before the snow flies. And PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Plenty of performances to overreact to. Do you remember who had an unbelievable performance last year, week 1? He threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Carson Wentz. So just remember, a lot can happen from week 1 until January.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekday mornings 8 to 11 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Plenty of dirt track racing still going on across the upper Midwest here as we wind down the season and move towards the month of October. We'll start Tuesday night, Sarver, Pennsylvania, the Lernerville Speedway for the High Limit Sprint Car Series. $50,000 to win on a Tuesday night in 410 sprint car racing. The money in dirt track racing is incredible right now. David Gravel picked up the win after Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet both had issues with the big cushion they had there that night. There's a couple pictures out there if you've seen them. Kyle Larson's car completely almost on its side. He saved it. It was a heck of a race, that's for sure. Wednesday night, Tyler County, West Virginia for the Castro Flow Late Model Racing Night in America. $23,023 to win on a Wednesday night, and Bobby Pierce picked up the win there. Thursday night, Indianapolis, Indiana, the dirt track at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the BC39, the first of 2 preliminary nights. Thomas Meserol picked up the feature win on Thursday night. They did it again Friday night, and Justin Grant picked up his preliminary feature win. Also Friday night, Fountain City, Wisconsin, the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, the Great Pumpkin Race, night number 1 for the USRA Modifieds. Jake Tim was your winner. The USRA Limited Lates went to Lance Hofer. Lincoln, Illinois, the UMP Fall Nationals, night number 1 in the late models. It was Jason Fager. Modifieds went to Mike McKinney. Concut, Ohio, Raceway 7 for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. The Great Lakes 50, $12,000 to win. And you guessed it, Ricky Thornton Jr. picked up another Lucas Oil win. Yeah, I know. He's had an incredible season. We're not done yet either with this list. Chillicothe, Ohio, Atomic Speedway for the World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Models, $10,000 to win. Mikey Marler picked up the win, stopping Bobby Pierce's streak of wins. Last night up in Luxembourg, they had their Fall Classic in the Modifieds. Benji Lacrosse was your winner. The stock cars went to Travis Van Straten, and the Grand Nationals was Brad Weiss. Plymouth had the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships. In the IRA 410 Sprints, Bill Baylog picked up the win. The 2023 champion is Brenham Crouch. First guy ever to be Rookie of the Year and champion in the same season for that young kid. So big future ahead of him. In the MSA 360 Sprints, Scotty Thiel jumped into one of the rent-a-rides from Randy Sipple. He picked up the feature win, and the 2023 champion was Brandon McMullen. That was a heck of a race. They had a couple
Join the Glow Party. Maybelline is heating up iHeartRadio Fiesta Latina with our new Super Stay Skin Tint. Get bright, sweat-resistant coverage that won't quit for up to 24 hours. Maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline.
Coming to the white flag, Brandon McMullen got by Scotty Thiel. Scotty Thiel slid him back. It was a really good finish there. In the IRA Wingless Sprints, Jimmy Sivia was the feature winner, and your 2023 champion was Clayton Rossman. Fulton City, Wisconsin, night number 2 for the Great Pumpkin Race. Same as Friday night. In the Modifieds, it's Jake Tim, and the Limited Late Models is Lance Hofer. Ashland, Wisconsin, the ABC Raceway for the Red Clay Classic for the Wissota Late Models. James Giassi was your winner, and the Wissota Modifieds was Clayton Wagaman. Lincoln, Illinois, night number 2 for the UMP Fall Nationals. In the late models, Jason Fager continued his domination of UMP racing this year, picking up the win, and then the Modifieds was Dylan Nussbaum. Chillicothe, Ohio, night number 2 for the World of Outlaw Case Construction late models. The Fireball 50, $15,000 to win. Bobby Pierce picked up the win there. Now things are back to normal again. I believe that was his 12th World of Outlaw win of the year. Imperial, Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Motor Speedway for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. The Pittsburgher 100, $30,000 to win. Anybody got a guess who won that race?
Ricky Thornton!
Yes, he did. Took him a while though. He did not lead the whole race. He got by. He did a slide job on Jonathan Davenport late in the race and picked up. I don't even know how many wins that is. I've lost count. Indianapolis, Indiana, the BC 39, $20,039 to win for the USAC National Midgets. Justin Grant picked up the win there. And finally, the biggest money of the weekend was in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania at the Williams Grove Speedway for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Friday night, it rained before their feature, so they had the makeup feature. Brad Sweet won that. And then $75,000 to win for the National Open went to Pennsylvania's own Brent Marks, as he picked up the big World of Outlaw money there. And that is everything for this week.
On to the paved results. As we mentioned earlier, the National Short Track Championships are happening at Rockford Speedway. Last night, Jacob Nottestead set the fast time for the Jody Dairy Super Late Model Showdown Austin Nason was your winner. Rich Bickle finished second. And Austin Nason also ran a sportsman car and picked up the win there as well. They ran their Big 8 preliminary stuff for the big race today. It'll be a 158 lapper. And Austin Nason is the fast qualifier, top 8 in time, all making it in. So in addition to Austin Nason, Dale Nottestead, John Reynolds Jr., Willie Nelson, Jeremy Miller, Bobby Wilberg, Carter Stark, and Jesse Bernhagen all made it in on their time. And then they ran some qualifying races with the top 3 advancing. Shane Radke, Randy Sargent, Steve Rubeck in that first heat race or qualifying race. Michael Bilderbeck, Jacob Guiley, Alex Papini in the second one. And then Greg Borchert, Max Kaler, and Josh Tearing were the final 3 to make it in on their results. So that race will be today. Dan Margetta will be there running one of the cameras as well. And then finally, ARCA ran at Salem, Indiana. Jesse Love won, and he claims the championship. And William Sawalich finished the race P6, and he will also probably be a future player in the Gibbs.
Sure seems like it.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesse Love, he led every lap in that thing too, I guess, at ARCA. So, hey, Alex Papini is at Rockford. That's interesting because he lives in Florida now. He must have come back because it was the last show at Rockford Speedway, interestingly enough.
Absolutely.
Dan, whose car did Rich Bickle drive yesterday? I guess we lost Dan there. That's okay. I'm interested about that. Hey, this week, to nobody's surprise, apparently, Indianapolis, the IndyCar Series is coming back to the Milwaukee Mile, as we heard. What got me was that it's going to be 2 races in 2 days. Interesting. August 31st and September 1st of next year, we're going to have back-to-back IndyCar races at the Milwaukee Mile. Do we know anything else about it? Brian, did you?
We don't know the exact, how long the races are going to be, but they want to be fit into that 2-hour window. So probably right around 200 laps, if not a little more. I mean, this is a big deal for Indianapolis, or for Roger Penske to bring that series up here. I mean, he did a lot of comparisons to running well at Milwaukee, converts over to Indianapolis, and they need to get some decent, consistent races going on there, and get some more guys, some more oval experience, and that's a big plus about it. I mean, it's like what Iowa has here, and the State Fair Board seems to be big time involved in it. They want to have some entertainment. They're going to utilize the big convention center for that, and they want to make the race affordable to go to as well. So a lot of pluses coming out of this. Let's hope that people support it and everybody can show up. Labor Day weekend can be difficult, but over almost a year in advance that it's coming, so people can plan out their time and show up for the races.
Interesting. Well, big news and good news for Milwaukee Mile. We'll sneak away for a break. We're glad you're tuned in. LTN returns right after these.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2024 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save. Makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including IndyCar, Moto America, IMSA Sports Car, and more. Don't wait. Get your 2024 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Come for the experience. Stay for the race. Road America, America's national park of speed.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
If guys don't get hurt, you don't get the opportunity to discover a Brock Purdy or a Tom Brady or whatever it may be. So when somebody goes down, the opportunity is there. I think the entertainment value of it is seeing if guys can step up to the plate.
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe, Jonas Knox.
Weekday mornings 5 to 8 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to LTN. Brian, I don't know if you saw that message from Dan, but I thought it was pretty interesting. What is going on sprint cars? That seems to be where all the big for short track racing, and it sounds like there's some kind of rumor out there about a couple of the series going to merge.
Yeah, there's talk about Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet teaming up and purchasing the All-Star deal. I haven't heard the official thing yet, but it would go along with the theme of Tony Stewart, doing an inventory liquidation on all his assets. I mean, he's got all these series and he's got cup teams and all this stuff, and it seems now he's kind of in his drag racing thing. Maybe he's not so interested in the other stuff. We haven't seen him wheel a sprint car in a long time. So, there's still talk. It's in the early stages yet. We haven't heard anything official, but it would be interesting if they do, that's for sure. I mean, the All-Stars had limits on how many races World of Outlaw guys could drive. We know the Outlaws have limits on how many races the other guys can drive. It'd be really cool to get all these guys together and turn into like late model racing where anybody can run any race at any time. So we'll see how it progresses. Usually by the time PRI shows up is when a lot of that stuff gets figured out. So we're probably 2 months away from having a final verdict on how all that's going to work.
I think what triggered that is race director for the World of Outlaws, Mike Hess, a long time there, is no longer with them, and he showed up working a high-limit race in the race control. He wasn't in full-time with them, but I think that's what kind of started this whole talk.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that part about it.
Makes some sense. Brian, the points in NASCAR, getting down to it, Kyle Busch is in last place right now of the guys, and yet this would be a place for Kyle Busch to win today, don't you think?
Yeah, it's going to be definitely. It's the bottom half of it is really close. Where you have, BK is in 7th right now. He's 8 to the good. Kyle Larson is 2 to the good in 8th position. Then on the outside looking in, I mean, Bubba Wallace. Think about that. He led a good portion of that race last week and was looking to win and looking to punch his ticket in. And just for the fact that he didn't win the race puts him on the outside looking in. He's 2 to the bad. Tyler Reddick, who's been running so good, he's 3 to the bad. Ryan Blaney is 11 out and Kyle Busch is 17 out. So it's very close together. So we'll see if guys can avoid the wrecks today. How cautious are they going to be? I can see this race today being a deal where you see a lot of riding around for the early stages and then chaos at the end. Same thing happened yesterday in the Truck Series. I mean, I think it took an hour and a half to run the last, 10 laps yesterday? It was insane how long that took to finish that race.
It is terrible, no doubt. Well, it's anybody's race. We all know this. It could, and anybody could come out of nowhere and win today. But my personal figure is that the cream eventually rises. I think it is time for that 5 car. I mean, I can't see Kyle Larson on the outside looking in. I'm going to pick him to win today. Let's go through and see who my partners are picking. And by the way, I understand Toby is close by, so I'm going to want to write down 17 when I get to him. But Dan, you're next. What are you looking at?
I'll take a guy who drives like he doesn't really give a damn and has nothing to lose today, and usually shows up on the plate or the pack racing tracks. Joey Logano.
There you go. All right, Brian?
I'm going to go with Ross Chastain. He hasn't been worth a damn really lately, I mean, he's keeping his head above water, but he hasn't been overly competitive, but I can see him, just like last year, showing up at the end and winning this race today.
Yeah, I thought about that. I really did. All right, PJ and the lovely mister, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski.
That's one Roush car. Toby, I understand you're there. Who are you looking for?
The other one. We're going to team up and go to the front.
All right. See, how did I know this? And apparently you got something figured out there, because every time you pick him, he seems to win races. All right. That's as good a pick as any right now. Just remember, this this would be the place. If Bubba is going to win one this year, this is the place for it. But the same can be said for a lot of guys. Almirola is really good on these kind of tracks. And, this might be the 3-car, speaking of Almirola getting dialed on the last lap at Daytona a couple of years ago. Don't be surprised if a grandson can win this one. One of the Silver Spoon kids comes up and wins this. I can see that happening. So
don't remind Brian of that.
Another one.
Yes, wouldn't it? And Stenhouse could go down and say, I won 2 races this year and did absolutely nothing in between. Think of it that way too, So there are guys. There's people we're going to watch for. Hey, we're going to the Roval here pretty soon, and Mike Rockenfeller has been tapped. One of your road course specialists there, Brian. He's going to be back in that 42 car again.
Yeah, he is. And in the other piece of news this week, Boris Said, who we talked to earlier this year on this program, Boris Said is going to be driving one of the Hendrick Motorsports Xfinity cars next Saturday at the Roval. So that could be interesting to see. Hendrick announced that, and Raja Karuth is going to be driving that Hendrick Xfinity car at Phoenix at the end of the year. So that's interesting to see Raja Karuth connect with Hendrick. I mean, what do they have in store for him going forward? He hasn't done a whole heck of a lot in his career either. So that's kind of interesting.
But he was on a parade float with Richard Petty.
Yeah. Oh, right. But I think Boris Said ought to be good. I mean, he didn't even give us any inkling to that when we talked to him back in July. He just said, if there's opportunities arise, he's going to go for them. Well, here we go. He gets to be in one of the best Xfinity cars there is next week. So good luck to him. I hope he does well.
I think NASCAR needs to figure out what they have in Raja Karuth. They like him. He's well-spoken. We don't know what kind of driver he is. Maybe they're looking to, we need to put him in a good car and see what he can do type of thing. NASCAR does this. They pay for drivers to make it, to take steps. I remember Bill, what's his name? Bill Mo Lester, as Jeff used to call him. They used to pay team owners to put him in cars because they need him so bad. I cannot imagine it's all that different with Raja to get him up there, because he certainly is a nice young man and well-spoken. Now we got to find out what he can do in a race car. So
talk about opposite ends of the spectrum there, right? I mean, you got Raja Karuth, who's like a kid, and you have Boris Said, who's 61 years old.
And probably can still outdrive Raja too, so that's pretty good. Hey, we're really happy that you tuned in for the program. We can't understate how much we like to thank our audience for tuning in and doing it on our website and all that sort of thing too. We're very thankful. Dan, have a good race today at Rockford. To everybody else that tuned in, we want you to know that real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
It's time to take care of yourself and enjoy life again. CBD American Shaman has a full line of hemp-derived products to help you experience the fullness of life. Whether it's a better night's sleep, relief from worries and tension, or just having fun, consultants at CBD American Shaman will guide you on your journey. Visit findcbdnow.com for a location near you. Findcbdnow.com. CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.